NBA totals for Thursday, November 10th. We have 4 games on the card today. We're going to cover all 4 of them. Yesterday we went 3-3. A little disappointed the way some of those teams scored, with Toronto and Oklahoma City scoring 70 points in the second quarter, which killed our underplay there, things like that. But we were 3-3, so can't really complain. Our sides plays, our other segment, have not turned around. Still really poor in that as far as picking the point spreads. Totals are okay though. We're 36 and 32 on the season. That's up to date for going into Thursday. So let's see if we can pick up some units today. We got all four games on the board. As well, I want to mention we're going to start the same type of segment with college plays and with the totals. So we're going to be doing, as the season progresses. Probably I'm going to jump right in, though, with Friday or Saturday's games and do a total segment. So be on the lookout for that one. That's going to be a really fun one as well. All right, let's jump into today. Here we go. We got New Orleans and Milwaukee. Odds makers have set the total at 208, and I'm going to go over that total. Something I want to mention before I continue with this segment, though, is check SBR for the lines, because there's so many different sports books out there, and SBR basically has them all the reputable ones, at their website, and the lines are always moving. So I'm not going to be mentioning any particular sports books because they're just can be the same across the board. It's just easier for me to just point you to SBR. So check sportsbookreview.com. That's where they have all the odds, and that's why we do this segment. All right, so you guys can hopefully get some good picks. All right, here we go. Back to New Orleans and Milwaukee. I digress. I won't be mentioning that anymore the rest of the year, but just check out SBR. All right, here we go. We got Milwaukee, New Orleans. I'm going to go over the total 208. Again, last time they matched up this year, they went for 230 points in their first matchup, with New Orleans getting up 91 attempts, Milwaukee 82 attempts. That's quite a few. Now, the other day we had the Clippers versus Portland. We went under the total. They went for 220. Then oddsmaker set it at 207, and that seemed really kind of off to me. So I went under that total, but I'm not going to do that with Milwaukee and New Orleans. This still, to me, sets up as a complete track meet. We got New Orleans. They're only averaging 100 points per game, but they're getting up 87.4 attempts per game. Milwaukee, they're averaging just 103.5 points per game, but they're getting up 86 attempts per game. Also, New Orleans is allowing 88 attempts per game. That could be trouble for them tonight, because Milwaukee, against fast teams, they're going to go fast. And the same thing with New Orleans. Against fast teams, they're going to go fast. Against slow teams, they're going to grind it out. We saw them the other night versus Sacramento. Not really a high-scoring affair. However, Milwaukee, a team that likes to run and doesn't play a lot of defense, against New Orleans that like to run and doesn't play a lot of defense, yeah, we'll take a shot here on the over. New Orleans, they're 11th in the league in two-point shooting percentage at 49.4%. And Milwaukee's number 2 in the league in points in the paint. So although they're not great three-point shooting teams, they move the ball. We got New Orleans, they're 8th in assists, Milwaukee's 5th in assists, and they're good offensively. Not a lot there going on defensively, but that's what you get with Jason Kidd and Alvin Gentry. So we're going to go over the total of 208 with New Orleans and Milwaukee. And that's it for the overs. Here we go. We got a lot of unders coming up. First one is we got Chicago, Miami. Now, Chicago, we had them on the under yesterday. That did not work out. They're off a back-to-back versus Atlanta. We're going under the total of 198 versus Miami, Chicago and Miami. And, again, Chicago just got done playing in Atlanta. And against Atlanta, they got up 91 attempts, and they scored 107 points. But they kind of went crazy, and along with Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta, shot really, really well, shooting 50% from the field, 45% from distance. Miami's not as efficient offensively as Atlanta, so I look for this game to be a little bit slower pace. These two have actually played to some pretty high scores like last year, but this matchup, I don't think they're going to get there. You got Chicago averaging 107. I believe I mentioned that. If I didn't, then there it is. But they're allowing just 100. Well, yesterday Atlanta got to them. Miami is scoring 96 points per game and allowing 98. That's not that great. But Miami's number 2 in defensive effective field goal percentage and overall defensive shooting percentage, opponent shooting percentage. They're number 2 in the league in those two categories, and they're number 2 in the league in fast break points against them, which is crucial against a Chicago team that likes to run. Chicago's getting up 85 attempts. Miami's giving up 86 attempts, and they're both around there as far as opponent attempts. So I don't see them getting over the 198. I think there's a reason why oddsmakers set this under 200 points, and I'm going to back under the total with Chicago and Miami. Next one, we got Golden State and Denver. That's going to be my sides play. Check that one out. This one was the hardest play for me to make on the board, because I think when these two get together, we can have an absolute track meet, like something, 230 or more. but I don't think they're going to get there. So I'm going to go under the total of 221.5. Again, check SBR for the odds. Golden State, they're number one in the league, averaging 112.9 points per game. And Denver is getting up 105.7 points per game. They're coming off a really long road trip as well. They'll be happy to be home. And Golden State's off the charts. Offensively, they're number one, number two in 2 and 3-point shooting percentage. Defensively, they haven't done much. They're allowing a ton of tempo. They're allowing over 90 attempts per game. That ranks last in the NBA. So Denver, should have a lot of opportunities to score tonight. And Denver's giving up a ton as well. They're second to last, allowing over 89. So, it looks like this is going to be a track meet, 221. They could get there easily, but I'm going to go with the under. You got Denver averaging just under 85 attempts per game, Golden State averaging just under 88. And, both these teams can play some defense. And Denver, they rank number one in the league in total rebounds. So if they miss a shot, they should be able to get it and control some tempo, as I'm sure Mike Malone's going to want to do tonight against a Golden State team that just wants to run and shoot the three. As well, Denver defends the three. Now, they haven't faced Golden State, but they defend the three as good as anybody. Pretty much. They rank third in the league in opponent three-point shooting percentage and third in the league in opponent three-point field goals made per game. Three-pointers made from beyond. I was going to say three-pointers made from beyond the arc. Well, of course they're from beyond the arc. But they rank third in the league in opponents made from beyond the arc. So that's good for Denver. They have their hands full tonight against Golden State, of course. But Golden State's coming off a back-to-back. So all that put together, I'm going to go ahead and back under the total 221.5. And that's going to be a really fun game to watch. Last one up, we got the Los Angeles Lakers and the Sacramento Kings. Lakers have been scoring like crazy, but I'm going to go under the total of 208.5. That was across the board, actually. I don't need to name a sports book. I'm not going to do that anyways, but that's what it was. And we got Los Angeles averaging 108.6 points per game and giving up 108.5 points per game, with Sacramento putting up just over 98 points per game and allowing 101.9. So this is going to be all about the tempo. Los Angeles are getting up 87.6 and allowing 85.9. So the shots they're allowing is not that much. That ranks 13th in the league for opponents' field goals attempted per game. That's not a lot. And you got Sacramento, they're getting up just 80.9 attempts per game. That ranks second to last in the league. And they're allowing just 80.6. That ranks 6. So they're not getting up a lot of shots, and they're slowing teams down. I've mentioned this several times before, and that's Dave Yeager. That's what we're going to get. We got Sacramento. They're number 4 in the league in opponent points in the paint. Across the board, though, these teams are really middle-tiered as far as their statistics. So, that 208.5, it looks enticing to grab the over, considering the Lakers have been really pushing the pace and stuff like that. But I like under the total. I think Sacramento is going to grind them out, kind of like they did with New Orleans. So at least at that same type of tempo. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to back under the total of that 208.5. All right. Okay. So let's go ahead. Let's recap those. Some good games on the board. Just 4, though. We got New Orleans, Milwaukee over the 208. Chicago, Miami under the 198. Golden State, Denver under the 221.5. And then finally, we got the Los Angeles Lakers and the Sacramento Kings under the 208.5. Those are our plays for today. I wish you guys luck on your plays today, and keep a lookout for our college segment. It's going to be a good basketball season. And I wish you guys luck again on all your picks.